Hello, Dwaine.
Hello, Violetta.
Long time no see.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, it's good that we're out here making a little video. And I got some questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so you've mentioned being a sovereign being.
Yes.
What do you mean?
What do I mean about being a sovereign being? Well, there's a difference between being the hypnotized self in the matrix and being an unbounded spirit, your sovereign being. And we need to move into this sovereign state. The energies are changing. We're seeing it everywhere, where the powers that were basically are losing their grip. And what this means is that we were in a reality at one time that was theirs alone. Okay? It wasn't even your reality. Everything that was influenced in your world for you to see, hear, relate to, was relating to their reality. And coming out of that into your sovereign being is a state of what you could call God consciousness, where you're the one creating your own reality. And in creating your own reality, you're creating everything in your reality. So coming into your sovereignty and your power as an individual creator being is coming into that sovereign state and moving out of something else, right? Moving out of the control matrix where they determined who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this goes along with ascension, I guess. So what does ascension? What does the ascension process mean from your perspective, and how do we connect to our higher self, as people call it?
Well, the thing that is that ascension, in my perspective, means coming into your own sovereign state, as a sovereign being. Source energy is creating. In the beginning, created us. We are it. It didn't have anything to create out of but itself, so we are it. And as we move into that sovereign state, the more that we move into that sovereign state, we're actually ascending out of, again, the control matrix. The controlled determination of, they're determining who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And in determining who you are and feeding that to you, you lose track of who you are.
True.
Okay? So the first thing is to determine who you are. Who are you, really? Because it's only you that can determine who you are. Nobody else has the right to determine who you are. This is a free will universe. And we have to come back to that law of free will. And that you have every right to create you. And so in ascension is the understanding and realization that you're that sovereign being. The higher you go in vibration in that is ascension. Now, some people have mixed feelings on that you're going to pop out and leave. And I've experienced similar things to that. But the what I see happening here is that the planet isn't going to ascend to another place. We're not leaving the planet. Literally, Mother Earth needs us, and needs us to come into our evolution, which has been held back from us for a long time. And as we move into our own evolution, which is an ascension process, we come into higher and higher levels of ourself. So now, when we take a look at the higher self, and we hear that a lot, there's the higher self. as you understand that as we move into this new consciousness that's happening, the freedom is happening now. This is why we're seeing all of this kickback in the world, is because there's grappling taking place, trying to hold on to what they had and they can't anymore. Is that we were kind of suggested to that there was a higher self. That's actually you. And as you bring that, what you would call the higher self, into who you are, into you, really you're ascending to the higher self. When you bring that into your body and you become that higher self, you're actually activating the God within you. See, there is no judgment or anything from source energy or God on you, right? You have every right to be the same as God itself. Think about it this way. If you had a parent that was assisting you to grow as a child, you'd want them to be as you or even excel you, right? And so it is with source energy, God. We have that support. But we were hypnotized out of that support. We were hypnotized out of a lot of things. And hypnotized out of it to live in a reality that's not ours. It's not our reality. And the quicker that we bring our higher self back into us and start the ascension process for ourselves and denounce this reality that we have been experiencing. Like, I don't know about you, but there's nothing in that reality that smacks of anything that I want.
Ooh, absolutely not.
I mean, I have seen my fair share of abuses taking place, abuses happening to people, helping people through those abuses, that you really begin to see that this is nothing like what I think reality is. And there's a reason why you're feeling that. Is because it's not. You're not in a reality that is a real reality for you. You have every opportunity to denounce that reality and start creating your own reality. So anything that's coming from that reality to try to drag you back in to it, you can denounce it and stay in a magical state of consciousness. And in that magical state of consciousness, you can do other things.
Well, you talk about the magical consciousness. What is the magical consciousness?
The magical consciousness has a lot to do with something that was they attempted to rub out of the human being, which is the imagination. The imagination isn't at all what you've been told it is. In fact, it's a portal. It's a opening out of the matrix. And if you use your imagination, you can step out of that control matrix and into a consciousness that is your own, and it's filled with magic. You could start working on yourself in ways that you wouldn't even imagine in that magical consciousness, and have it actually come into your experience. But without the imagination, it is blocked from you. So re-engaging your imagination, opening up to that, creates a magical consciousness that's outside of the matrix. And when you're outside of the matrix and you create your own reality, well, you be the judge. Do you want to go back into the control matrix? How does that feel? I've had experiences with that with clients, and they step back into that matrix-driven reality. I want you to stop for a second and just take a look at something. Okay, look down here. When I was a boy, I came down here and I created this. And at the end of this is actually a dream place. You may or may not see it, but there's actually a portal at the end of this. And when I was a boy, I used to walk down there and imagine that as I passed through that portal, everything was different. And then I would exit out and experience a difference in my life. I was utilizing the magical consciousness then as a boy. So I've had a lot of experience with it. It was just, how do I bring it to where people understand it? And it's the utilization of your imagination and then feeling it in your body. And then that's what creates reality, is seeing something in your mind's eye, imagination, hearing it and feeling it, actually living it as if it's so. And experiences would happen from that. So as I pass down here to the end of these trees, there's an exit out, but I would go through a portal first and exit out, and everything would be different. And I allowed myself that freedom in my consciousness to be able to do that.
Is there a one-set process to this magical consciousness for everyone?
No, there isn't. And why? Is because each person individually has past associations with the magic, with this magical consciousness. And you can't create a generic process that works for everyone. You need to be able to elicit that from the person to get it going. So past associations are memories in those experiences of magical consciousness. So I have done work like this before with putting together a generic program that works for everyone, and it doesn't work. It works for a few, it doesn't work for everybody. But what works for everybody is being able to elicit that from the person. And this is what Trance Alchemy is about. Is we're going out and we're teaching people how to do the elicitation process to bring people into magical consciousness and to be the magic. So there isn't a cookie cutter method to doing this, but you can be taught how to elicit that from people so that it brings out that magic within them. This magical consciousness is easy to do once you work with each person specifically. You need to work specifically with people.
And now I want to ask you, how does it feel to bring people into their magical place?
It's like no feeling you have ever experienced. To see and experience people light up with their own freedom, to come out of that suppression, to see the energy in them come alive, and they know that they are free. I'm going to say that we have suppression and we don't even realize. When we come out of that suppression and we come into our own defined self, right? Not externally defined, everyone telling you who you are, but you knowing who you are in that magical consciousness, you begin to create in the fashion you were supposed to create, basically from the beginning. We were supposed to evolve into this consciousness a long time ago, and you wouldn't believe how many years ago we were supposed to, and hundreds and thousands of years ago. But now we can move into this consciousness. We've raised the vibration on the planet high enough now that we can move into our own sovereign nature and come into this and say, this is my reality. I create my own reality. And so you're not subservient to something else creating a reality for you. That, if you can imagine that, stepping out of that control and stepping into your own freedom to be able to imagine and create and do and be is phenomenal. And as a practitioner in this, seeing people come alive where they once were so stuck or so in loops of unending cycles of going back through, you know, the proverbial Groundhog Day, if you would call it that, and stepping out of that and ending that, and their creation now is forward, present moment, high vibration, and moving forward.
So how does high vibration change all of reality, in a sense?
Well, everything is a vibratory frequency, like Tesla said. You know, you got to think in terms of vibration, frequency,
And energy.
and energy, and so everything exists in those three concepts. If you take a low vibrational reality, that low vibrational reality, if that's your only thing that you're observing in your world, that continuously sucks you into that. It's very sticky. I teach people how to get angry. And with a lot of other teachers out there, that's a no, you're not supposed to. But how else are you going to get your ass out of the quagmire if you don't get ticked off enough to bring in your own energy and pop yourself out in vibration? It's basically saying no. And we all have the right to say no. And when we think about our own frequency, and we think about the frequency of disempowerment, the first stage out of disempowerment is to get angry. Otherwise, you never get out of it. You stay in disempowerment if you are continuously hypnotized not to have anger. Oh, we're not supposed to get angry. We're supposed to just be. Meanwhile, they're feeding you this. They're taking advantage of you. They're doing all sorts of things to your reality, feeding off your energy. All of this stuff, the negative energy. And there comes a time where you got to say no, and you got to get pissed off enough to say no. And if you don't reach that point, you're just still floating in that area of allowing them to do what they need to do. At some point, you get pissed off and you say, no, this is my reality. I denounce your reality. There's nothing in that reality that I condone. And you create your own. So, sorry, I went on and I forgot your question. What's your question?
How does our vibration, when we raise vibration, how does it float out into the reality that we see around us, like a ripple effect?
Like a ripple effect, yes. Well, when we have this new vibration, of course, there's something called mirror neurons, right? The mirror neurons. And this is what they're working on to get us to go into lower vibration, is that everything that you see, every person you see, is repeating the same drama. And so by repeating the same drama, the only thing that you can relate to with your mirror neurons is drama. Okay? So now what happens when you step out of the whole matrix and you step into your own power? Now when you talk to somebody and you look in and you see that equal God within them, all of a sudden you're flipping the mirror neurons within them to see something different, and they start relating to you in a different way. Also energetically on the etheric level, when you expand into your own power and you're sitting here on planet Earth, this is why we're not going anywhere. We're going to change it right here. Mother Earth needs us to do it. We're coming into a very high vibration as human beings. Human, meaning God-man. That's what human means. is God-man, and equal with women. It's equal. When we come into that vibration, what we're doing is sending that vibration out through social consciousness, and other people are picking it up. Like like they say, the 100 monkey effect, is that other people are picking it up by you just simply coming into your own. And it's starting to cascade in vibration. The vibrations go out. It's like a tuning fork, boing, and the note, the frequency goes out. And so you're very much a master of frequency. It's only that you got stuck on one channel. And what we're doing by introducing you to this magical consciousness and what we have for you in the Trance Alchemy work is that you're going to help people come into that vibration and experience something right here, right in real time. And that feeling, that vibration is feeling. Feeling and vibration are the same thing. And when you are in that vibration, you're spreading that out into the world. And other people pick it up. Other people sense it. Other people will cross the street and say, "What is it about you?" Right? Because I'm feeling something, right? So this is a long time coming to where human beings can stand in their own sovereign nature and spread this frequency. And what it does is it changes people without having to fight anybody. We simply go to what we feel good doing. And we end up creating a reality that's supportive of something that's called the free will. Free will was the first law, and really the only law, is that everyone has free will. And like attracts like. Opposites do not attract. That was word magic used on human beings so that they would attract the opposite and create discordance. Like attracts like, and it always has been that way. And so with like attracts like, what happens is that more people show up supporting that concept and idea. It just starts to spread around the planet.
So the more magical we are, the more magical our reality
Becomes.
Exactly.
And you begin to see that reality isn't a one thing. It isn't, this is reality. No. What you see is that there are multiple realities, multiple choices that you can experience. We're just stuck on the same frequency. We had been stuck. And now we're graduating into a full spectrum of color, sound, feeling, vibration, creation. We are the creators. We always have been. I want you to know that the designers of a matrix like that cannot create on their own. They have to have you supporting their creation. And you want to think about how you're supporting that. Are you getting scared about the next meteor they say is coming in? Well, in some places they call that fear porn. All it is getting you in fear and over there, and you're co-creating that with them. So we want to be able to come into valuing our own vibration, knowing who we are in this sovereign state and power, and simply create our own reality. And no longer pay attention to all the stuff that they're feeding us to get us off balance, and say, you know what? Balance is the most important thing to me. I value who I am. I value what I'm doing. I value what I'm creating. And that's,
Thank you for what you're bringing forth.
Well, you're welcome. I don't do anything to people but bring out what's already within them. So when that happens, I see miracles all the time. I see absolute miracles. I've seen a man who was a quadriplegic. And I seen him right there on Skype. When he caught this and he felt it, he took his hands and he raised them up above the table. He hadn't done that since he was 4 years old. You tell me, what would that feel like to see that? And it wasn't me doing it. It was his own God within him doing it. His own God within him that did whatever it took to heal that reality. That's what this is about. We don't have to believe in a limited reality anymore. We can step out and experience changes. Now, I don't claim at all that I did anything to heal that guy. He did it himself by getting to know his own true nature and his own magic within himself. That's unbelievable things that I get to see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.